Okay, I'm at the Best Western in Penn Yan. This is the start of the Letchworth Cayuga 600 pre-ride. It's going to be a terrible day. It's going to be rainy and windy. I hope it doesn't stink as bad as it looks on the weather forecast. But here we go.
In a half mile, turn left.
Alright, so for breakfast, the pro move is Angel's, if you've got the time. Has a good buckwheat pancake. Closed right now. Wonder what time they open. 7 a.m. it says. Well, at least currently it's a crosswind. At the top of the first climb right out of Penn Yan. And I'm probably overdressed. It's high 60s, but the wind and the rain. Right now there's no rain, but the drive over here, we were getting pretty doused in the car, so I was like, oh geez. So I overdressed, thinking I was going to encounter something here. But right now, feeling pretty good. It's funny how in the morning you wake up and you hear the rain outside like pouring down. You're like, let's go back to bed. Then you start riding and it's like, hey, not so shabby. We'll see how I feel in a couple hours after I get a first good dousing. So this ride, the 600K, weaves its way through the western Little Finger Lakes. I'm heading over to Honeoye now, top of Honeoye, but I'm going through a couple of really neat little valleys that I'm looking forward to. They were really pretty in the summer last year when we were scouting it out. This would probably be a great fall ride with the hills and the leaves and stuff, but still excited about it. The first thing we're doing, I guess we're heading over to Naples. It's at the south side of Skinny Atlas Lake, and I know there's a place there, an old diner, that might be a good second breakfast. I already had a little something in the car, but that might be a nice spot for a second breakfast. And then we climb between a bunch of the little lakes, go to a small town, Springville, something like that, and post office control. Then we head over to Mount Morris, which is on the north side of Letchworth State Park. We go down through that park, really pretty, and then go to Portageville on the south side, then a bunch of small towns in the southern tier, coming out in Hornell. About 8,500 feet of climbing in the first 200K, and then the rest of it is less climbing. The beginning of the second day is some climbing, but pretty easy climbing on the second half of today. Anyway, Hornell, and then we go to Hammondsport and what was it? It was Canisteo, Addison, Hammondsport, and then up along the east side of Cayuga Lake again, just like I did on the 300K, back to Penn Yan for a sleep stop, and then the second day we head south from Penn Yan to Watkins Glen, Ithaca Falls. I'll probably stop at my house, get some food or something, and then north to Trumansburg on the Black Diamond Trail, a rail to trail project, and then we head over the ridge line through the Finger Lake State Forest area, kind of a climby area there, like 1,600 feet of climbing, away from Cayuga Lake and over to Seneca. Then we go up the west side of Seneca to Geneva, and then make our way back down to Penn. That's 600K. Feeling some sprinkles here as I'm talking, but currently pleasant. Pretty good side winds though. Almost blowing me off the road. Man, these gusts from the side and the wet conditions makes you feel like you're on stilts. You have to do a sudden correction and feel like you're going to slide out. Circling back from the stream, I thought I saw I did. Some fawns and a doe. Gotta stop for the fun stuff. Alright, I've made the turn to go south down to Naples, I think, on 364 West. And a little mist off the road here. So far pleasant. I think I got a little tailwind too. I'll take it. Alright, about a mile drop down into a little town. I think it's called Middlesex. Gotta be careful with these winds though. I want to fly down it, but right now I got a crosswind. Oh yeah, here we go. Some of that rain I thought we were gonna get. Oh, maybe I'll just get a coffee and a donut. Something quick. Probably not a great pie when in Naples. Alright, climbing out of Naples. I had a pain in the neck with my Garmin. I use rechargeable batteries. It takes AA batteries. Nice thing is you can carry a bunch of them and go forever. No big deal, but I use rechargeables so I don't have to just keep throwing them out. And I did just recharge them, but they're dead already, like just a little into the ride. So I had to stop. So a lot of screwing around in Naples. Let's get this show on the road. Up, up, up. I'm really making no time at all here, but it's pretty. Well, I didn't get to go fast on that hill at all. Little ski resort here. Yeah, I'm really going slow because of the slick conditions, the wind and the rain. It's gonna be a slow day. Quite a misty day. All right, I'm on East Lake Road. There's Honeoye Lake. Approaching Honeoye up here to the north. That's my second control. Man, there's just a whole bunch of tailwind gusts that I thought, oh no, here comes the wind with the day. Flat in the parking lot, control 2. Bye. Well, it's holding there. I didn't find anything. Just a little pinhole in the tube, but nothing in the tire that I could see, so that's pretty suspicious. But sometimes things just die. That tube's been in there for quite a long time. So we'll see if it holds up. Going down the east side of Honeoye, making my way over to Birch Hill Road. Raining cats and dogs here. Alright, this is County Route 37 up at the top of Birch Hill. This is the top of Birch Hill, and what would be wonderful is if the weather was nice and I could go bombing down this thing. But given the conditions, I have to take it pretty careful. I'll have to wait for my revenge on Birch Hill another day. Down the east side of Canada's Lake, which I haven't done yet. That's new on this series. Well, I went down it just a little bit. This is the rest of it. There are some whitecaps out there. Not too bad, but rain's starting to pick up. There you go. It's 12:04. You can see that, 12:04. And here's my postcard. On that spring water. We're going on to Mount Morris, about 20 miles or so. Off we go. Not quite as bad rain-wise as it was a minute ago. But I'm not making fast progress yet. I probably won't all day. I think this is just a slow ride. Just kind of settle in and savor the rain. Heading down Silka Road, heading towards Genesee. I think I gotta climb that ahead of me. I'm back here at Genesee Lake, the farthest west lake. And in a minute, I'm just going to start climbing to the left, up a pretty good climb, Maple Beach. Yeah, Maple Beach Road. Guess it's pretty climby. I'll enjoy this flat for a second. Plenty of hills out here on the west side of the lakes. South of them anyway. It's not raining too bad right now. Ate a bunch of cookies I brought with me, but I probably should be eating a little bit more. When I get to Mount Morris, I'll grab some food. I'm up on a ridge top a little bit, top of a hill anyway. I think I'm going to descend into Mount Morris soon. Mount Morris is at the north side of Letchworth State Park, which is the Genesee River's carved out a gorge. It's pretty scenic. You get to ride down through there for a while. I think I'm going to ride into a headwind. And I think it's going to be an uphill. And right now it's not raining, and hopefully it doesn't turn into that. But looking forward to getting some actual food in Mount Morris. The Fig Newtons didn't quite cut it. That was pretty scenic. That's the I think that's the valley, the Genesee Valley. I think we'll be riding left, which is south, through that valley. You can even kind of see kind of a cut, as if it were a steep-sided gorge. I don't know if it's coming across in the camera, but you can kind of see it. Alright, I'm kind of perched on the west side of the Genesee Valley here. I'm going to descend down. And right above, oh man, well, I wish I could zoom in on this. Maybe I can when I get back. Let me stop. I don't know if this is going to work. I'm going to try to, in post-production, try to edit this and zoom in. But boy, there is a right there. Actually, right about somewhere's up in here. There's a entrance to Letchworth, I'm pretty sure. It's like you're looking at it straight on. It's pretty neat. Like right above that conveyor, hopefully you can see it, that's got to be the entrance to Letchworth. Had a quick stop at McDonald's in Mount Morris, right outside of Letchworth. Heading to the park entrance right now. Should be starting to climb up to the control in a minute, which is the dam, Mount Morris Dam. Alright, starting to go about 17 miles, 15, 17 miles, something like that, to get through the park. Little climb to the dam. We'll stop and get a information control. The fence is in sad shape.
Or we can go back to the
Other one?
park one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we either got to go out and around. Yeah, and go back to the other one. Well, it's not full, but maybe that's just because it doesn't need to be full.
The reality is, Letchworth is a nice road. Rolly, a little climby. You don't really get many views of the gorge until the end of it. You do see a fair amount of this like civilian conservation corps stonework around bridges and things like that, which is nice, but it's just a pleasant road till you get down to the southern side where there's the waterfalls, which is, we're getting close to that now, I think. And the Big Bend overlook, that's neat to see. Here's a neat little spot called the tea tables. Bunch of stone tables set up along the gorge. If you like having a cookout or something like that, it's a great spot. All sorts of little hikey spots. We're probably passing here. We're getting into the more interesting part of the park. If you're gonna stop somewhere in here, this is probably the place. Here at Glen Iris. Let's go over here. Take a look. That's the view. I think there's another overlook over there. Maybe we'll stop, probably not. Gotta make up some time. So, I did start a half an hour late. I did have a flat. I did screw around and have some pie. All that to say, and the wind was tired and the rain was rainy. I was going slow on down hills. Yeah, my excuse list. Flat tire, first one anyway. Wind and rain, a lot of hills in the beginning. Stopped and had pie. Taking my time, brutal crosswinds on down hills. So I'm behind schedule. What I'm hoping, what I know is a lot of the climbing's in the beginning of this ride, at least on the first day. And the second half is considerably less climby. So I'm hoping I can make up some time there. I think I can. I mean, according to my schedule, it just assumes a constant speed, which I'm not doing. I'm behind schedule, but I think my second half's average speed will be a bit higher. And here's Glen Iris. Looks like they got something going on, probably a wedding. Not gonna go squealing through there, but with my squeaky brakes in the middle of their wedding, I'm sure they will all appreciate that. That's a nice inn, overlooks a waterfall. Not sure if I can get a view of it apart from. Let's try going in. No. Okay, I'll go in. Try to not disturb everybody. Sort of sneaking around the backside here from their ceremony. No one cares, but there's the upper falls. Some people down there looking at it. Then if you've got all the time in the world, across the street, you can go hang out in the museum and learn all about why this park's here and life before the park and blah blah blah. I don't have the time. I gotta get moving. Let's get out of here. We're almost done with the park. This way to the exit, a couple more stupid climbs, and then into Portageville and out of here. Old train track. Ugh. Last few climbs are doozies. I think we're pretty much done now. I think. And out the other side. So now we're going down to Houghton, which is the next control. Information control, a little monument. Down through some southern tier fun. More climbing. After you go through Letchworth, the next turn is East Coy Road, but if you go just past it, there's this. There's gonna get some chocolate milk. A little something in the tank. Dirt ahead. I think we're going straight up over that. And it doesn't look very nice. Well, that was one of 3, I think, sections of gravelly stuff. The next one's probably the worst one, but that was pretty squirrely in the wet. Kind of muddy, you had to watch it. I'm using 32s, and even those were sinking in a little bit. So I took my time, which doesn't help my time, but I'd rather be a little slower in that section than wipe out or something and then not finish for that reason. And yeah, the next section's a little longer and I think it's a little nastier. So we'll see how that goes. Coming into the town of Hume. Got a nice little pond. Just leaving the town of Fillmore before I get to Houghton. Stopped in at the local grocery store and got some dates and a Coke. Alright. I eat dates. This is the Civil War Veterans Memorial here in Houghton. It's a question control, I think. I'm going to answer that question and get right back on the road. Headwinds. There's headwinds everywhere I go. But, as you can see, sun's out. The sun is out. So, take that, weatherman. You know, it's so right. It's not a terrible day. It's hard to cycle in, but it's not a bad day. Well, this is Council House Road. We didn't have this as a gravel road, but they just put down loose stone. It's not really gravelly, but it's not really pavey either. I guess it's paved. Back a little bit further is worse. So yeah, I put a bunch of oil on my chain and derailleur. They were squeaking and making a bunch of noise after all that rain. I came prepared at least. Pretty muddy. Here we go. Started climbing. On our way to Island Lake, it calls it. I don't think we get to an island lake, but up, up, up. Little streams go into town. Feet here on Klein Road, on this dirty dirt road. You'll hear grit on my fenders, which are mounted too close to the tire. I know that. I know that. It caused me a problem on the 200 earlier in the year, but I guess I haven't learned my lesson. So I think that was a particularly bad stretch on the 200, and although there's noise and stuff here, it's not building up like it did on that insane road on the 200, because they were doing road construction on that. They're not doing road construction on this. This is just a used dirt road. Anyway, should get through this section of dirt all right. Deer right up here. Hardly can sneak up on it on this rattling bike. But speaking of which, all this rattling I think is causing me a problem with the rear shifting. I don't know why. Look at this. Open another deer. Yeah, if I'm in my low gear, I hear ding 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 ding, and I think I nailed it down to the rear derailleurs touching the spokes. Now they weren't. The limit screws were all set. Everything was right. But now they're hitting. So I gotta adjust that when I get the heck off this bouncy road. I just won't go in that. There you go. Just won't go in that low gear for now. Seeing lots of wildlife. Alright, I'm off that dirt road, Klein Road. I think it's had an effect on my rear shifting. Probably stop at some point here and check the screws, check the derailleur hanger. I do have a spare derailleur hanger. I don't know why it would have affected the derailleur hanger, but maybe. Shouldn't have affected the derailleur hanger at all. That doesn't make sense. And all day I've been working the low gear, so I don't know, all of a sudden I'm shifting into the spokes for no good reason. Can't figure that one out, but I can set my speed limit. But you know what, it shifts crisp. It's boom, 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 as far as I can tell. So it's not like it threw my shifting out of whack. It's got to be the limit screw, the low gear limit screw. Is that going to be labeled L, I imagine? If it's labeled at all. I'll turn one and see if it moves me away from the spokes. If not, the other one. Well, survive the dirt. That's some dirty dirt. I would recommend something a little bigger than 32s, especially if it's going to rain. That's you can do it, but it's not great. It's like boom, 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 boom. And apparently it so shook my bike that it affected my screws, shook them loose or something. That's pretty severe. I don't think I've ever had that happen before. What was that? Dinosaurs up here. Another few deer up here. Now I've got the worries, feeling anxious about my derailleur system in the back. What happened? What do I have to do? Keycap. This area is called the Keene Swamp. This is nice. Kind of shielded from the wind by the trees here. Kind of making my way east. Relatively flat. About 15 miles an hour without working too hard. And pretty nice. Lots of birds. In the woods I can hear. Very on cue. Sun's getting low. Next control is painted post. Got quite a ways to go here. This loop is kind of shaped like a big ghost. That's how I see it. I'm going down to the tail of the ghost, his feet or something like that. A little point down on the southern side. I think that ends up in painted post. Then I come back to Bath, and 20 miles to Penyan. Still got quite a ways to go, but pretty pleasant. Quite pleasant. Part of the Allegheny Wildlife Tour. See a lot of rabbits. Coming down out of the Keene Swamp, not doing anything, cruising along at 30. Well, this is one way to make up some time. I bet I went an extra couple miles up whatever the heck road that was. Instead of going on 15A, it says turn left on 15A, but in fact it's a right. So that needs to be corrected. Good grief. It was a big climb too. Alright, I came down. Instead of turning left on 15B, I turned right and went up a hill for a long ways. the wrong way on the road. So I had to come all the way back and figure myself out. It's funny how it's hard to realize what the heck you did, and sometimes. Bizarre. Okay, bonus miles. So in my efforts to diagnose my shifting issue, I thought maybe my wheel wasn't completely set straight, so I was messing around with that. Got my caliper, my rear caliper seized up. It's all wrapped around the axle, so to speak, trying to get this to work. I don't know why I didn't just go to the limit screw. Why was I messing with the brakes? I don't know. Or the alignment of the wheel, I don't know. Anyway, it's a nice sunset, huh?